everyone, welcome back to Papercraft Possibilities. This is Susan, and if you're new, welcome also. Today I'm going to be making a 2-page layout with some fun pictures that we shot up at a historical farm in Fremont, California. And we also have another channel called Our Senior Adventures, and we were just goofing off in the sunflower fields making videos. And just some of my happy pictures, they just make me smile when I look at them, just us being a bunch of goofballs in the sunflowers. So today I'm going to use some of the stash I have, and then also these are some papers from Stampin' Up. So I think they picked up really well on the jean jacket and the sunflowers. So let me pull everything out. I'll roll the intro and let's get started. All right, let me go through a couple of these scraps with you. This is one I've thought about using, but it's slightlier, is that a term? No. It's slightly more muted than some of these other super bright tones. So I think I'm not going to use that. Let me get my base pieces decided. I only have one of the gingham, so I think I'm gonna pass on that one. But on this sunflower one, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use it, and it's super bright. So I might need to tone that down just a little. So let me kind of get this glued down here. Not glued down, but kind of tacked down so it's easier to work with on my Versamats here. Always with the double page layout, it's hard to get you all on the screen, so I'll do the best I can. So here are the pictures, and I know I want to do, I think, a real simple layout here. So now I just need to, I've got something on that photo. There it goes. I need to figure out what to do. And I think here is where I want to bring in all of the blue that I have. Just because I think it works really well with the jacket. So I'm thinking, let's see. We could do them like that. But that doesn't look right to me. So let's go back over here and pull this picture out on the top. And I think I might want them butted up next to each other. Let's see. If I move this one up at the top, when the pages are connected in my binder, it'll look like one continuous piece of paper. So I like that. Let's see how they look with the pictures. Okay, I'm liking that. So I think I want a little bit of a border over there, and then an equal border here. I'm just trying to figure out the order. I guess there really is no order in the photos. It's just kind of, I guess this one, well, that one doesn't show my face, but the other ones do. So I think I like that. I've done some die cutting and things that I wanted to share with you. I went through with this. Let me see if I can pull this die out. I went ahead and did some die cutting with a Stampin' die set I have from Spellbinders. Let me see if I can find the name of this, and I'll also put this in the description. I've had this forever. It's a detailed cutting die, obviously. It's called Sunflower and Ladybugs. So what I have done is, with this, I've gone ahead and I've cut this out 3 different times and I've layered it up. And then this actually cuts out these little tiny stars, and they're not symmetrical by any means. And then I've come in and I've put them in the middle. And what I've done on the sunflowers, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of these out and share with you what I had done. So let me do some die cutting and I'll be right back. I just finished up a bunch of die cutting and I wanted to go over a couple things with you. So I ended up on the Spellbinders die set is I ended up using every one of these dies with the exception of there's a little tiny ladybug in here and I didn't use that, although I could. That would probably be pretty cute. And I wanted to show you, see these little tiny star shaped things? That is what this die here will produce. And they're not symmetrical and they're meant to go on the inside of the sunflower, which you'll see right there. And I'll show you that in a minute, how I put that together. And then also, I don't know if I've ever shown this to you, and it gets its wear and tear, obviously. This is the Magic Mat, and it is magnetized. And I use this for all my die cutting, obviously, you can see. And it very rarely warps, and if it does warp, you just put it in some hot sun for the afternoon, and it'll go back to shape. But this has saved me so much money because I don't have to replace, you know, your cutting mats that get all wavy. And I really hesitated on this because I thought, oh, wonder if it's just kind of, you know, a sales pitch thing. No, I love this thing. Even my husband's made notice of it. So that's a big deal. So when I'm doing things like those little tiny star shapes, what I do is I bring out my scraper from my Cricut and I'll use that to get them off of here. And this works out really well. So just a quick, you know, little FYI. And then the other thing is I've gone ahead with another die of mine. And this is called Sprigs and Leaves, I believe. And it was from Close to My Heart. And I went ahead and did some die cutting on this because I think I want to do some inking up of some of these. And some of these things are going to stick in here too. So I've taken, actually, that's the wrong tool. Let me pull up the right tool. Oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. Pardon me. I'm sure we all do that. I use this every day in my crafting room. And so when you have a die that might be stuck like this, or, you know, first of all, you can just do a little pounce and a lot of them will come out like that. Or if you've got little tiny pieces, I bring in this tool and I just poke these out of their little holes. So then you have all these beautiful die cuts. And I'm thinking about even using these little tiny pieces, if you can see that. So let me get these all out and I'm gonna bring boy, today I'm having a hard time finding the words. I'm gonna bring back in my colorings, my inks and my pens, and we're gonna do some inking up. And also as a reminder, hang on to this when you cut this because this could be a card front or you can use this as a stencil. So hang on to these. Don't ever get rid of that. That's really a good thing to have. And what I'll do is I just put it back in the envelope with my die set so it's always there so I know I can use this as a stencil. So there's that. Give me a minute. All right. Here are the pieces I'm going to ink up, these 3 pieces and these 2. And I'm gonna come in, I have my Stampin' Blend markers, which are alcohol markers from Stampin' Up. And I'm gonna come in and I've got a scratch piece of paper down here. And I just wanted, the reason why I'm doing this instead of just die cutting these out of colors is I wanted some definition and some contrast and color to give them a little bit of depth. So I'm only gonna do one of these and then we'll go from there because I think you'll get the idea. I'm actually gonna do only half. I came in with a lighter color and I went over every flower leaf or flower, every flower bit. And so we'll leave it at that. And then I actually colored the center. Then I'm coming in with the darker color and starting from the center, I'm just going to just kind of flick it out. And make sure you kind of start in the center there. And then if you want to blend it out more, you go back to your lighter pen and just kind of gradually go over where the two colors come together, and it allows the ink to get a little softer edge to it. Okay, so then what I would do at this point, and I actually did the back sides of these because I wanted to be able to, if you were lifting it up, because I wanted the leaves or flower parts to come up just a little. I thought you would see the underside, so I actually did the other side too. Then, let me see if I can get some of my glue out here. And I'm just going to stack these up even though they're not colored. And I just put goodness, Susan. I put glue in the center only. And when I put this down, I'm gonna bring you in closer even, let's see. I kind of set these off kilter, so I don't want the flower petals to line up. There's the term I'm missing, petals. Okay, and I should have probably done the colored one last, but I think you'll get the idea. So I'm gonna put this one together. And this glue will dry fairly quickly, but it gives you a little bit of time to do the little wiggle to get everything into place. And then I just kind of push up the flower petals. Proud of myself for finally finding that word. Okay, so there's that part. And then what will happen with these is I do the same thing. I'm gonna bring in the lighter tone. And I know it's hard to see when they're white and I haven't colored them yet because it's white on white. So I've got the lighter of the yellow tone. I'm gonna come in with the darker tone on the chubbier side of the pen. So it's not the chiseled end of the Stampin' Blend pen. And I'm gonna go back to this on the little chubbier side of the pen, just to kind of smooth out some of those lines. And this by no means needs to be perfect, and you probably don't want it perfect because you want it to look like something in nature. So then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna ink this up, making sure I'm on screen there. And I'm gonna set that down in the inside. And I have this tool here that I use quite frequently. This is like a rubber end, it's a wax end, and you can pick up your little jewels or sequins with that. And this has a stylus end on it, and I use that stylus quite a lot. Okay, I think I've scooped that into place the way I want it. So the next thing that I do to get these flowers ready, oh, and then you want to do probably 2 of these too, and you want to set it off kilter just a little. So you don't want the little prongs to match up with the other one. You want to have it offset, so kind of like that. All right, so now we're on to this portion with the brown center. Just a simple eraser, and I'm gonna get these little tiny pieces. I'm gonna put some of them here on this piece of eraser, and I'm bringing in my stylus, which is just a metal piece with a little rounded tip on it. These come in all different sizes too, so you can get them at any craft store. And I'm coming into the middle of these little stars, and I'm just making a rounded circle. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just rubbing in the center, And this is just to make the prongs go up just a little. And I used espresso colored paper for this. And this is actually a good thing to use your scraps for because it needs very little paper. So then what I did is I then took, I'll bring this back out. I took my reverse tweezers, another staple in the craft room. Just a dab of glue here. Hold it there for just a minute. And this is one of those things that'll be good to do if you're watching TV or you're just trying to chill out in your craft room and not think about much. Just kind of decompress. This is one of those things because what I ended up doing is I used every one of these on all of my flowers. So you'll want to, you know, it takes a little while to do that. So take some time to sit aside and watch TV or do something that doesn't require, you know, a lot of brain power and put those together. But you'll continue just to build those up in the center until you're happy with them. I've often thought too of getting out my glossy accents and you know, in fact, let me pull that out real quick. These are the glossy accents that I use by Ranger. And what I would do with these, I'm not going to do it on the ones that I've already made because it won't dry in time for me to make the pages. So you just lay this on here and it comes out cloudy like that at first, but then it'll dry clear and it'll make the center of the flowers look like they have glass or water on them. So that would be a good thing to do on there too, but I'm not going to do that today. Now we're going to do some inking up of our leaves, and I'll just do a couple of these, and then I'm going to do a lot of them off screen, so I don't have to have you sit through all that. I'm using pine ink from Close to My Heart, and I've got my blending brush here, and I'm loading it up. And these 3 leaves right here are from the sunflower set, so I've cut out several of these, and I'm just kind of coming in and adding an accent and deepening, pardon me, the sides of each leaf. And I'm using avocado paper from Close to My Heart, which had actually been discontinued, but I'm sure we all have like a plain green paper that you could use. And the other thing that you could do with these is you could take this back to your foam pad if you have one, and you can actually run a line through here with your stylus and kind of flip that up, and it's also going to give that some, if you can see it from the side, it kind of will turn it up just a little. So those are the leaves from the sunflower set. Then these are the leaves from the, I think it's called Sprigs and Leaves from Close to My Heart. And again, we're on the avocado paper, but what I've done is I've turned the paper over because Close to My Heart's paper had one tone of the color on one side and a deeper tone on the other side. So I've cut it out 2 ways, just again to give me some more definition and depth to my page. So let's just finish inking this up. And always the ink will go on darker and dry lighter. So you can see there, see if I can get you on screen, how that's given me a little bit of definition to that leaf or sprig, as they called it. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and I'll be right back with you. Before I pull the camera back out, I wanted to leave you in a close-up mode here. And the reason being is I have decided to cut out some picket fences from just plain white cardstock. And I've run it through with a embossing folder, and I've had this one forever. Although it's Stampin' Up, I find it interesting that there's also a Sizzix logo on it. But if I can find one, I will hook it up for you down below, but it's just a 2D wood grain embossing folder. So I've run that through my machine, and when I was thinking about doing this, I tested out on a piece of paper and I used 2 different inks. I believe this side is linen, and I've forgotten what the side of this one is, but I decided to stick with my linen ink. And I just wanted a little bit, hopefully you can see that on screen, I wanted a little bit of definition on the wood grain. So I'm gonna come in with my linen ink from Close to My Heart, and I put this down on this darker tone just so you could see it better than on this white, which I'm going to use because I just need something to catch my ink with. And all I'm going to do is just very gently rub this entire pad over my wood grain. And I'm hoping you can see how it's picking up there. And if I show you the other picket fence I have, see if you can see a difference. You can see this one's a little bit lighter. And I ripped it. So I'm gonna have to tape that back in. A good reason to be a little bit more, to be gentler with it. I'll just tape that up when we're done here. I just don't want to lose that little piece. So let's do it a little bit more gentle. And I think this will help it stand out more on my page. And I did it again with one of the picket fences. So definitely want to be careful if you're doing the same thing. So let me kind of tape this up and correct my issues here, and I'll be right back. What I decided to do to kind of correct the little tears I've had in my picket fence is I've done an offset with my picket fences with a blue paper that's also from Stampin' Up. I'll find that and list that below. But it brought in the blue again, and it's got a little bit of a definition. So again, offering depth, so it looks a little bit more like a true picket fence. So just gluing things up here. And we're back. So now I'm gonna try and start putting all the pieces together, how my brain's kind of seeing it, which is really scary. Always scary. So here are my picket fences, and I'm thinking about bringing them in like this. We'll see how it works out. And I do like that little bit of definition that's there. And I've matted my pictures in a white cardstock. I have my sunflowers here. Let's see. And then I have a bunch of my leaves that I've done. And I've actually used, I believe it was this one, yeah. It's this stamp set from Close to My Heart called Change of Scenery. And I've come in and with a navy blue embossing powder, I've embossed these. And I'm gonna try and use these in here. I may or may not use them. And I think I wanna do 2 of the sunflowers over here because I usually like to have this page, my title page. I just need to make sure that this guy isn't lonely over here. Let's see if I can do anything with this. This one I was actually thinking about backing it in some yellow. Let's see what that would look like. Because this is a die I've had forever and I don't even know where it came from, but it's in my stash. So I thought about backing that in yellow and hanging that like with a string from the picket fence. So I'll have to do that and get that all taped up. But this looks really lonely over here. So let me see what I can do. Let me start placing some of these leaves. I've made some decisions and I wanted to show you what I'm going to do before I glue this all down. I've come in with this nature sign. I've lined it with the honey butter cardstock from Close to My Heart. I've used some baker's twine and I've doubled it up and I've punched some holes in here, and I'm gonna fix it like it's hanging from the picket fence. Over here, I've gone ahead and lined this and matted it with some honey butter. And I'm not sure which one of these I'm gonna use, but I've had these in my stash for a while. These are cuts I made that I didn't use, so like some borders. And I thought about using one of these. I'm just not sure which one. I'm leaning towards the honey butter, which is the one on my left. So I'm gonna put that over in here. And then I'm gonna put some of these, some of these leaves down there. And what I wanna do then is, I made this bow of some of the baker's twine again. I think I'm gonna put that in there. And then I'm gonna come in with some of these enamel dots, and maybe I'll put some in here and some over in here, just to kind of level these out and have your eye travel across the page. So I'm gonna glue all this down and I'll come back with you, and if anything's changed, which is normal with me, I'll go over it with you when I come right back. So give me a minute.